Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Spurs News Therapy Sessions. I am Sam. Joining me to discuss the wonderful world of Tottenham Hotspur, it's Stefan.
Well, you've started this in a lot better sounding voice than I expected, so...
Yeah, no, I've kind of come round to the idea of being in the Championship with no VAR is actually going to be a lot of fun.
Lincoln City, can we play you every week? It's going to be great.
Oh, I wouldn't go there. Are Lincoln in the Championship?
I think so.
See, you said this to me about a team Leyton Orient the other day, and they're not.
It turns out they're not. No, I'm pretty sure Lincoln are in the Championship.
Right, look that up. Look up the Championship table because it threw me for a loop. Whilst I kind of vamp. On the show this week, we're going to talk about the North London derby, probably not in a great amount of detail. We're going to talk about the return of Dele Alli, and all the feels that brought about. We're going to look ahead to Fulham, but we're going to start the show, finding out if Lincoln are in the Championship.
I know, was it?
Oh, you're still looking? Oh, okay. But we're going to start the show.
No, they're not, but they are second place in League One, so they're going up.
Mate.
They've got like a 10-point cushion to third place.
Do you think there's an arrogance about us that we really struggle with naming teams that are in the lower tier?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we are a Premier League team. We don't care what's happening in the Championship.
Yeah. Well, we need to start. Anyway, we're going to open the show, handing it over to our listeners.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
Nobody on Instagram likes us anymore. Mountain Man, Island Brother, if they still listen at all, they are no longer writing in. Or if they do, they're just hitting on Laura, which I don't blame them for. Like, I do that.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Question 1. Can you name 5 teams in the Championship?
I can, yeah, but mostly because these last few days I've been studying it.
Been looking at who's what, yeah.
Looking at the teams that are there, looking at the teams that are likely to go up, looking at the teams that will be left, planning a few away days, because there's a lot of teams in there that are quite local to me, so that's quite good. I'm finding...
Your Bristol City?
Well, Bristol City is the amazing one for me, because Bristol City share the ground with the rugby club, and I've got such a strong association with that rugby club, I could actually easily get box tickets for any game. And I'm offered them all the time, but I don't want to go and watch Bristol City play football.
No.
So
you might want to next season.
Yeah, there'd certainly be a game I'd go to for that. But yeah, there's a few there, so that's kind of fun. Anywho, so kicking off with Ryan Miller, it's Miller time. Says, what is your opinion with how Gallagher is doing for us since joining in January? Also, second question, do you think Basuma has redeemed himself at all? No.
What's with this whole getting greedy and having 2 questions in one all about? What's that about?
Yes, that's when you have penis envy. No, I'm joking. Ryan, my friend, I'm joking. I'm sure you have a monstrous dong. When it comes to Gallagher, I think it's very hard to judge. I would say one of the things that's impressed me is he does clearly have a quite phenomenal engine in terms of tenacity. He is always one of the ones working and moving.
He is up and down the pitch.
Yeah, which I know is a kind of bare minimum, but when you've looked around at what other players are doing, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah, thank you. That's kind of where we're at. He's got a couple of assists which have been quite impressive including one that was ruled out in the North London derby, which we'll come on to. But yeah, it is difficult because I think under Thomas Frank, the whole team had got themselves into such a rut. He joined, like, it's so difficult to kind of equate this to anything, but the only thing I can equate it to, which is so bizarre or like mindset wise, was when I was young. I'm talking like I was 18 years old. I was on a fast track to become a professional rugby player. I'd been signed by a club. I was going through training, and I had an accident away from everything in a car, and I had to have surgery on my knee, and I was doing like the rehab stuff to come back. And part of that was I needed to get games and play games, and where I lived, like there was a local village rugby team, and so I got permission, like, you know, go and train with them in addition to what you're doing your rehab. And if you could like play for like their seconds or third team or something, just so to try and help you get extra game time, go and do it.
Get some minutes in your legs, as they say.
Exactly, yeah. Now, I went from this hyper competitive environment where everyone was kind of like up, everything was positive, everything was kind of everything, to this team where it was guys who were my age now, in their 40s or anything like that, who basically showed up to drink at the weekend, and a rugby match got in the way of that. Which is fine, you know, it's part of the fun or whatever. But like, I remember the very first game I showed up to play for them, the fly half before kicking off threw up because he was hungover from the night before, and then had to stamp the vomit into the pitch, like, so no one would fall in it. It was just, I was like, what the hell have I signed up to? And so in my brain, I kind of equate this to like Gallagher arriving in January being like, oh, you know, I'm back in London, back with my family, I've signed for Tottenham, a massive club. Okay, here I am. Holy shit. Like,
I mean, and you've got to think, like, he had Simeone as his manager before Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
Like,
that's,
there's a clash of difference.
There's a downgrade. Yeah, so I think it's difficult to judge. It's like one of those where if we manage to stay up and we bring in a manager, I mean, obviously I've talked about this, but the person I'd like to see us bring in is Pochettino. And you look at the fact that Gallagher was his captain at Chelsea, I can only imagine that will be, we will see a very, very good player there under a different manager. Right now, I can applaud his effort in a very, very poor and very injury-ravaged team. I can't really say much more than that. Like, he's not arrived and hit 5 goals in 5... Do you know what I mean? It's like not a...
Yeah, so I think I said about... I think it was like talking to you about this, or one of the other... Like, looking at this team at the moment, if you had have said to me 12 months ago...
Yeah.
We are going to have players like Conor Gallagher...
Yeah.
And Xavi Simons playing at Tottenham,
yeah,
I would have been over the moon excited.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, Conor Gallagher is a player for a long time that has been one of those ones where I'm like, oh, I wish he wasn't at Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Like, he's such a good player. I really like him, what he can do. Why has he got to play for them?
Yeah.
You know, Xavi Simons, really silly. He's a kid that I remember reading reports about this young kid with an afro in like the Barcelona youth team.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, he is going to be like the next big thing. This is amazing. And now we've actually got him playing for us. So between the two of them, I should be like watching them on the pitch like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And exactly like you just said, Conor Gallagher has finally joined my team.
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy is like an engine. He's got the ability on the ball. He can pass. He can score. He can assist. He can also play that kind of dirtier tackling role and breaking up play. I'm like, this is amazing. And then we've kind of just dropped him into this team. And I'm like, you poor sod.
Yeah.
Like, I've waited so long to see this guy play for my team. And now I'm like, oh yeah, he may be running around a lot. But there's nothing else happening for him. And I'm like, And I'm watching people say, "Oh, he's done nothing since he joined. What was the point of signing him? It's not like he's added anything." And it's kind of like, no, you have to look around. Like, at this very moment in time, we could sign Messi and Ronaldo in some like crazy double deal, put them in our team, and within 3 matches, everyone would be going, "Well, they're shit. They can't play football."
They'd be injured, probably.
Huh?
They'd be injured, probably.
Yeah, both hamstrings.
Yeah.
But I think, you've got to look at the team they're playing in before you can kind of assess them as well.
Yeah, I think it's unfair to say he's been a flop in any way, but I also will acknowledge like it's not. But you sign like you sign a player in his mould, he isn't ever going to be that arrive, score goals like non-stop. We've not signed a striker. So yeah, it's difficult, but I'm not unimpressed. The overall feeling at the club is so bad, toxic, and it's just very difficult to make a judgment. Moving on to the Basuma part of the question. I'm very done with him. I'm very done with him just because of he can perform very, very well. Like, we have seen games from him where he's a phenomenal player. Mm-hmm. But that is 1 in 10, maybe 1 in 15 even. And his concentration levels are appalling. And you add to that the near consistent off-field bullshit with him.
Yeah.
Like, as much as he seems a character and all this kind of stuff, it's just me, I'm so over him being in the squad.
I think he's one of those where I kind of like, I like the person, but I don't like the professional.
Never met him, so I can't speak to that.
No, you know,
I know what you mean.
See the vibes and the stuff that what he gives to the team in that sense. I like him, but I don't like the professional.
Yeah, I mean, there's a distinct lack there. So for me, no, there's no redemption there. His contract should be up, but I think the club have triggered an extension with a view of just trying to get something for him in the summer.
Okay.
I'd be amazed if he, I don't know, maybe he's a starter in the Championship, who knows. Tom Perk says, our next 3 games are Fulham, Crystal Palace and Liverpool. Will we get anything from them? No. Okay, the next question. No. Tom, it's a question, mate, that is haunting every single one of us, because right now, every fixture we look at, we go, shit, I don't see how we get anything. And that's a reflection of how bad we are. And it's worrying, it's terrifying, because we're all just hoping that the new manager coming in can do something miraculous. And obviously the very first game, the guy had such a horrific ask from that first game, which again, we're going to come on to that. But I think, and this is such a cliche and such a football adage, we need to stop looking at the fixture list and literally go 1 game at a time. Because we need to focus in on, okay, it's Fulham away this weekend, and we need to look at the teams that are next to us to see what they're doing. Yep. If we win, there's a good possibility not only do we create a bit of a gap, but also we can move up a place in the table. Now, directly above us is Leeds this weekend, who are hosting Manchester City. For so many reasons, obviously I'm hoping Manchester City very much show up and win that game.
Oh, God, yes.
Nottingham Forest, who are directly below us, they are away at Brighton. Brighton are, to be honest with you, this season, they're kind of just safe mid-table Brighton, who play well 1 week, average the next. So I'd like to think Brighton at home can win that game, and I hope they do. And West Ham United are away at Liverpool, Anfield. Liverpool this season, I just can't tell you. Like, that fixture, like, you look at Leeds hosting Man City and West Ham going to Liverpool.
Yep.
last season, I wouldn't have a doubt in my mind that those two teams are going to not do well. And this season, I don't know. And it's football. None of us know. So we got to kind of focus on ourselves. There is a gap between us and West Ham United, which are the team currently in the relegation zone nearest us. If we win, we maintain or improve that gap. That's got to be our focus. So for me, we need to go to one game at a time. The game's Fulham. We've got a full week to prepare for it. Hopefully, some players might be back to help. And so that's where my head is. I think if we keep looking, like stepping back at the bigger picture, I think we're all just going to freak out. Which by the way, I have been.
Yeah, it seems so crazy for me at the moment. Like, I think we've discussed this before about kind of like growing up being Tottenham fans and what you remember from Tottenham.
Yeah.
I remember kind of us being a top half of the table team.
Yeah.
Pushing for European places, you know, be that the Europa League normally, like when I first kind of really got into it all.
Yeah.
And then we had the Poch era where we were like, wow, we are like up there competing all the time.
Yeah.
And then we had a bit of a drop off after that, but we were still in and around European places.
Yeah.
To now be looking at this and to be looking at, like, you know, Fulham, Palace, Liverpool, those sort of games and going, oh, actually, where's the next 3 points going to come from? This season is just blowing my mind. Like, I know you've said before, like, you remember Jurgen Klinsmann having to come in and basically save us from relegation.
Yeah.
Like, for me, even though I know that happened, I look back at that and go, blimey, that's strange that happened. And now I'm living it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Fulham this weekend going, it's Fulham. Like, we should get something out of that. And then Polynesian Dante reminds me that actually, the last 5 times we've played them, 4 league and 1 FA Cup, we haven't won a single one of them. And I'm like, oh.
No, and you've just depressed everyone listening, by the way. Thanks, Polynesian Dan, for that start. There are literally people stepping to the bridge as we speak.
That didn't help me when I saw that. And, like, it's been like 2-0, 3-1s, like, not even close games. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Okay, so...
Well, look, the reality is we're away at Fulham and there's a very good chance we lose that game. Like, there's no two ways about it. We are in deep shit. Like, this is...
Like, my brain still can't quite come... I reckon I'm currently in the same place that Newcastle fans were in when they had, like, Michael Owen, Obafemi Martins, Nicky Butt, and them lot. And they're like, no, we can't go down. Don't be stupid. And then they went down.
Yeah, I mean,
I must be in that same sort of, like, mindset right now of every time we talk about it, I'm like, don't be silly.
Every single time and because you said it, or anyone says to me, we're too good, or the players are too good to go down, it sends a shiver through me. And the reason why is, again, this is kind of the memory. So Leeds United were Champions League semi-finalists one year and were relegated the following.
Yeah.
The team they had, and by the end of the season, don't get me wrong, the team didn't look as good as it once did, but the team they had, I still remember, like, Paul Robinson was in goal. You had Smith. You had, like, I can still remember. Like, I've never been a Leeds fan, but I can still remember that team and thinking.
The only reason we signed Paul Robinson is because they got relegated.
Yeah, for like 1 million evil bastards that we are. But, like, I still, to this day, cannot get over watching Leeds United fall from grace and go down. And like you just mentioned, Newcastle a minute ago, Aston Villa have gone down. These are clubs the size that they are that you just can't fathom that it happened to them, but it did. Now, Tottenham are one of the mainstays of the Premier League, so if we go down, that's massive. Like, we've been in the Premier League team, everything, but the reality is we are fighting it. And what worries me is it's not the first time this has happened, but the other 2 big occasions where we were really in the shit, The first time was, I think it was 93, 94, where we brought Klinsmann back on loan. And that guy's goals kept us up that season. The other time was when we'd won the League Cup the season before, and then we just like sold countless players. The players didn't like the manager, and
one day Ramos, wasn't it? We were
were
8 games in with like 2 points or something stupid at the bottom.
Like, yeah, we were bottom, and we got to January, still in the relegation zone, and we signed, I think it was 4 players and loaned 2 others in, and climbed up the table to 8th. This year, we were in deep shit in free fall, and in January, we signed a Brazilian left back who can't defend. I mean, he's just an attacking fullback, and we signed him for a manager in Thomas Frank, who doesn't like attacking fullbacks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then we've also signed Conor Gallagher, who I'm very happy with, but you look at that as an effort of, okay, well, that's going to keep you up. No, it's not.
No.
Like, where was the and to listen to Lang do his interviews, where he's basically said, yeah, but we got so many players injured, we couldn't sign players, because then when those players come back, you know, we'd be stuffed. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, but you can loan, like, there's so many options available. It once again smacks of negligence from the owners and the hierarchy at the club, and there's also a real arrogance that they don't think we're going to go down, and it terrifies me. Like, that really, really worries me, that there is this arrogance of, oh, we'll be fine, look at our players, look how good we are. And I just, like, the Fulham game is so massive now, because if we lose that game, there's no denying it. Like, West Ham pick up anything at Liverpool. If West Ham win at Liverpool and we lose, there's 1 point.
And let's be honest, if West Ham need any more motivation ever,
yeah,
it would be to know they can be within a chance of getting us relegated.
So to answer Tom, mate, I think just one game at a time. I don't know. I like everyone, I can't see us getting anything anywhere at the moment. I'm just hoping that Igor can turn things around, so we do get something at Fulham, and we can all see, okay, there's some fight, there's some resolve, there's some sort of strategy to score goals, because that's the worrying thing. Paul Wilshire says, where do you think our next points will come from? Okay, we're in such a rut. I really cannot see where we will get a draw, let alone a win. If we lose to Forest, I think we're going down. We've kind of answered this, Paul, with the question before. But yeah, I it's funny because I think fans in general are all going through this, like, denial aspect of things, and there's this kind of like, oh, if we lose this game or we fail to do something on this day, that's like, oh, that's when I'll think we're going to go down. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, if we lose this or we don't win this. I've had this fear for a little while now, and people have kind of not ridiculed me, but kind of told me, you don't have to worry about that, we're all right. So yeah, I don't know when it's going to happen for people, but yeah. So basically, like I was saying, there is this that we've already answered the question. It is
no one knows.
No one knows. I think what is, it's so difficult because we just got to go one game at a time. That's going to be my thing. I know it's so cliche. I know it's kind of, it's a game of two halves and all that kind of crap. But I think we have to get the mentality of one game at a time and just try our best to then, because if you focus one game at a time and you keep winning, we're staying up. Do you know what I mean? Like, if every week we better the performances of the teams around us, we stay up, and that's got to be
Yep.
our focus. So lastly, we had an email in from a gentleman called Bobby Long. Bobby Long says, let me start by saying I love the podcast. You do an extremely good job, and you have acted as my Spurs therapist for years now. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So he says, I was scrolling through social media and I saw this question being posed to Spurs fans. Would you take being relegated if it meant Arsenal didn't win the league? He said, I think that's a dumb question, but it did make me think of this. Would you take being relegated if it meant that the Lewis family in Enoch finally sold us to new owners? Now that is an interesting question.
That is, yeah. See, I've seen the same question being asked to Arsenal fans,
Right.
which was, would you take finishing second if it meant Spurs got relegated?
Yeah.
And the worrying thing is the amount of Arsenal fans that are willing to not win the title
Yeah.
just to see us get relegated.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be completely honest. As fucking unbearable as it would be for Arsenal to win the league,
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about us not being relegated than
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am now as well.
Yet, for some reason, Arsenal fans are still more concerned about if Tottenham are going to get relegated or not than their own title chances,
I have to be honest with
which
you.
I think says a lot.
I have to be honest with you. I think if I was in their position, I'd also be thinking it was fucking hilarious. So.
Oh yeah, no, it would be hilarious, but I'd want to win the league more than.
Yeah,
Like,
but
if the roles were reversed,
mate, this is but that's just online nonsense. Any fan in the stadium wants to win the league. Don't give a fuck about us. But when you're online and you're trolling, you say, "Oh yeah, this," because it's funny. It's like, and I'd be laughing my fucking ass off if Arsenal were fighting relegation. So.
yeah, true. Okay, fair enough.
Oh, see, this is. I'm going to answer this question simply, and I'm going to say no. The main reason being is I think being relegated would fuck this club for a decade at least. And also...
Yeah, that's not going to be a simple go down, bounce straight back up, pretend it never happened.
And also, I don't think it would trigger a sale. But, putting it to one side, I've said this a few times now, and I'm going to stand by this. The way this club has been run and mismanaged... They deserve to go down, but we as a fan base do not. We have shown up, we have supported this club, we have paid through the nose to support
Disgusting
this club,
amounts of money.
and we don't deserve the way this ownership treats us, and we certainly don't deserve to be relegated. So that is where my mindset is. Like the owners do. The owners and people of this club. And it does pose an interesting question off the back of this, because I had this put to me by my brother the other day, and I want to put it to you, actually. And you tell me what you think, because this has been bugging me.
Okay.
We have the Lewis family in charge without Daniel Levy, and we're all looking at this and seeing... holy shit, you don't know what you're doing, and we are in free fall. Does this now perhaps suggest to us that Daniel Levy was actually doing a fucking phenomenal job?
It's actually very difficult to not look at it that way now. Like, was he actually the reason that we had done okay? Was because everything was on fire behind him, and he was just an incredible firefighter, keeping the ship kind of going in one direction.
Well, the guy, like, there's a lot of things I'm very critical of him involving himself in, and one of the things that I've learned a lot from people who have worked with him, and I've got first-hand accounts from this, is the guy's a workaholic and a control freak. I think he'll even admit that himself. I think in one of the things about the stadium, he basically admitted that he's a fucking nightmare to work with because he's 24/7, doesn't stop, and he wants to know every single aspect of everything going on. Now, when you remove a person like that and you replace him with people who are 9 to 5 in an organisation that clearly is fucked,
it's not going to work.
and it hasn't, has it? You know, you look at it. You remember Vinay, when he joined, was all like, I'm going to do press conferences, I'm going to speak to the press on a regular basis, I'm going to be available to do this, I'm going to be basically like the go-between, I'm going to help fan groups re-engage. And we all kind of looked at it and went, oh, okay, that's quite, yeah, okay, the club trying to bridge the gap to the fans, trying to do all this. You've now got accounts where the supporters trust have tried to meet with him, and they're trying to edit the minutes that are being put out, and the supporters trust have called them out on it, saying no, like, we discussed these things, you can't edit this out, so people think we didn't ask you about it, like, that's wrong. You've then got a situation with the whole fan advisory board being ignored. You've got him not speaking to the press, him actually deliberately avoiding press questions and trying to hide from any accountability. And you've got this situation where the person who seems to be running the football club is the grandson of Joe Lewis, who graduated with some business thing from a place in Florida, who doesn't understand football, never been involved in football, doesn't understand, and he's the person making the decisions. And
oh, it's worrying, isn't it?
It's terrifying.
It's so worrying.
It is terrifying because the Lewis family, the ownership rebrand they did. Oh, it's the Lewis family. It's not Daniel Levy and Enoch anymore. It's the Lewis family. We all looked at that and went, okay, proof's in the pudding. Show us this. And it's terrifying. It is so bad that, like, and also season ticket renewals coming up, or is happening now.
Yeah.
Check the press, everybody. You will find stories being leaked from the club about big investment. Oh, if we manage to stay up, we're going to rip up the wage structure. It's bullshit.
I saw that being touted around yesterday and this morning.
Someone did a thread on Twitter brilliantly, and it shows at this same time every year a sample of the press stories over the last however many years. I mean, and I'm talking like going back to before the stadium being built, and it is with the stadium being built, the club's going to invest massively in players. Like, these press stories are there at the same time, season ticket renewal, every single season, and the club think we don't notice this shit. Like, if I'm a season ticket holder at Tottenham Hotspur right now, which I'm not, but if I was, and I'm on the brink of relegation, and they've announced that my season ticket price is going to be the same for next season, why would I hit renew right now, not knowing what division I'm going to be in? Because we're already the second highest season ticket average in the league. Well, no, our prices is the second highest. There's a season ticket at Fulham, of all people, which is the highest in the league. But on average,
wow, at Fulham,
yeah. But on the average is we are the highest across the thing for season tickets. Why the fuck would I pay that for the Championship? And the irony is the club have already thought about this, and there's a leaked press thing about the price would stay the same because in the Championship there are more games. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so let's let that sink in.
Wait a minute. So ignore the fact that we won't be welcoming teams like United, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle to the ground.
No.
We will be welcoming, one second, let me bring that league table back up.
Bristol City,
Birmingham, Preston,
Wrexham.
Derby and Watford.
Yeah.
Just as some mid-table teams there.
Charlton. Yeah.
Charlton are there, yeah.
Maybe Millwall.
Norwich City and Portsmouth.
Can you imagine what Millwall are going to do to our stadium? I look at this and I'm just kind of...
But it's okay, there's a few more games so we can keep the prices. Jesus Christ.
Just out of interest, our average season ticket price in the Championship, this won't shock anyone, would be the highest, but would actually be near double the nearest to it currently. And this club, this ownership, are sat there thinking, huh, we're good, aren't we? We're really good at business. Anyway, right. So that's for everyone to ponder. By the way, have we actually been protected from our owners by Daniel Levy for 25 years, and now he's gone? Are we seeing what the real problem was all along? And I say this as someone who's very critical of Levy on a number of things he did, and still hold on to that. But I do think it's a question all of us should suddenly ponder. And if Daniel Levy does join up with this bid to buy the club, I'm suddenly not so against it.
It's mental, isn't it? All of a sudden, we're all kind of like, you mean we could have him back?
Well,
I'm like, wait a minute.
I don't know how I feel about all of this, and like there's so much rumour and conjecture, but the one thing I do know is that the Lewis family are a joke. They've shown us to be an absolute farce and a joke. They do not know what they're doing at this football club, and in one season without Daniel Levy, we're fighting relegation. Last season we finished 17th, but we were not in a relegation fight once. We weren't,
yeah.
And we won the Europa League because the team switched. Like, listen to Ange on the recent podcast he did. He makes it abundantly clear they switched training, they switched focus completely because they knew they couldn't go down, but they could win that and get Champions League football, which is what we all knew from what was being said. But he just confirmed it, absolute hammer and nail. That's exactly what we did. And that's why we finished 17th. There is no doubt at all in my mind that this season is purely down to this ownership being a frigging joke. And we are in a terrible, terrible mess. Speaking of a terrible, terrible mess, we once again got dicked in the North London derby. We have not been competitive really in the North London derby for a while. Ange managed to get a 2-2 from it, which was quite good, but still, Arsenal have dominated this fixture again for some time. I went into the game with hope, and not expectation, but hope, because there's always has to be hope.
I think it was that new manager bounce.
I think for me it was just if there's ever going to be a game a set of players should actually be motivated for, it should be this one. Unfortunately, I think the reality is they are in a different league to us, and maybe next year they will be. But right now they are playing as one of the best teams in Europe, and we are relegation fodder. The one talking point I want to go over is that the fact that our second goal was disallowed, because I'm kind of struggling with it, because I don't know if this is I've got lily white tinted glasses on, so I'm seeing it like, what the fuck was that decision, or if I'm genuinely have every right to feel aggrieved, because Colomwani equalised to make it 1-1 out of nothing. Like, there was a mistake at the back, he pounced, bang, 1-1.
Yep.
That atmosphere in that stadium then was electric, and kind of you could see the players suddenly looked a bit taller, looked a bit more like, oh, do you know what? We can have these bastards, you know, we actually can do this. They made it 2-1, and you saw straight away like a bit of that feeling of, fuck, the floodgates are open. But there was a little bit of fight still in the team, which again hasn't been there. So I'm hoping that's an impact from Igor straight away. And we made it 2-2. And that freaking reaction, and that's if that goal had been allowed, I don't know what happens next. Arsenal were still the best side without doubt, and they possibly could have still won it. But I don't know, whether that game would have would Arsenal, having
just had the whole 2-2 against Wolves,
exactly, would
the fans and everything in the stadium absolutely rocking from the second goal?
Yeah,
they may well have fallen. I mean, they may not have, but they could have fallen apart.
They exactly. That's what I mean. It's
the players start going, shit, we've let a lead go again.
Yeah. exactly. Like, so, mate, what's your opinion on this? Because, like I said, I battle with stuff like this because I'm like, am I just seeing it as a Tottenham fan? Well, what do you think about it? Because
I think it was absolute bullshit.
oh, okay,
That is a central defender
yeah,
who a lot of people rate as one of the best central defenders in the league.
yeah,
He has two hands touch his back.
yeah,
Okay, I will fully admit there were hands in the back and possibly a little push. But there is nothing on earth that could have made him flop to the floor like that.
yeah.
I once, it was years and years ago, I was watching something and one of the pundits I think it was, made a point. And I say this was years ago, and it was, say you're having a race with your kids in the park
Yeah,
and you fall over.
yeah,
Your instant reaction is to put your hands down in front of you and protect yourself.
yeah,
Nobody has ever accidentally fallen over or been pushed over, and your reaction is to throw both hands up in the air, because it's not human nature. It is not a natural reaction. If you are going to fall or you trip or whatever, your hands go out in front of you, next to you, wherever you're falling. It's human reaction to stop yourself from hitting the ground.
yeah.
Watch that guy fall over. He was basically both hands up waving like he was at a boy band concert.
A boy band concert.
And I'm like, surely that alone, like they said, these punchers said, like, you know, that alone should be what referees look at. Oh, wait a minute, he's been pushed and thrown both his hands in the air. Well, that's clearly not a natural reaction, so therefore he's making the most of that.
Yeah, there's...
I also look at the fact that the same thing as Liverpool happened to Romero.
Yeah.
Romero gets bundled to the ground. Oh, it's a goal, don't worry about it.
So it's interesting. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because I've talked a little bit about this is in relation to Vicario, but Romero as well, actually, a little bit about how TV commentators and pundits on the commentary, like so Gary Neville is the person I'm going to talk about, and how they can influence people's perception of a game or incidents by their take on it. So someone found that incident you're talking about, which is Liverpool against Tottenham, and I think it's Ekitike.
Yeah.
Both hands in the back of Romero. So Romero's jumping to head the ball, and as he's jumped, the guy Ekitike's come in, both hands in the back, and has pushed him forward to create a free header for himself and scores.
Yeah.
It's both hands in the back, pushed. Gary Neville on commentary says Romero needs to be stronger there. What is he doing? Okay?
Yeah.
In the commentary for us against Arsenal, Gary Neville says Colomawani needs to be cuter there. He's not going to get away with that. I don't understand the possible agenda that there is there. Like, it doesn't make... Like, I understand that Gary Neville doesn't rate Romero, and therefore Romero sneezes and he goes, "Oh, that's a red." You know, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I understand that there's that thing with Vicario and corners, and Gary Neville seems to enjoy doing that, even though Ange really put him in his place on the podcast over it.
Oh, I haven't seen the second one. That's good to know.
Yeah. Well, he basically gets Carragher up, and they have the debate over what is a foul in those instances. And Ange is just like, "Well, you two are wrong." so that was kind of fun. But my whole point, like, bringing this up, is that influences people. So yeah. I know a shitload of people who looked at that and just went, "Oh yeah, Moani, because he put two hands on him, that's the reason. If he just like lent his shoulder into him, he'd be fine." It doesn't actually make a difference. And one of my closest friends in the world is a gooner, unfortunately. And she messaged me and said, "Gabriel does that all the time, this diving contact, and it's going to cost us in a game big time, and it should have cost us because that was bullshit." Now, that's from an Arsenal fan, like a real live, loved them to death, just called it as bullshit. And it is, because the more you watch it, the more you realise he literally touched him. He didn't push him, he just touched him. This is a contact sport. How many times when the corners are coming in from Arsenal do they literally have a player stood on our goalkeeper?
Yep.
And so
every week, every week, no matter who they play.
So what you're telling me is you can be basically stood on the goalkeeper's boots, your shoulder in his like face or whatever. That's fine. But if I lift my arms up and touch him with both hands, that's a free kick. So if Kolo Muani had just barged in with his shoulder, that doesn't get given according to the referees. It's bullshit. It's a contact sport.
Yep.
And so I'm frustrated by that. Like, Arsenal were the better side. They won the game. Okay, I'm annoyed, but I'm frustrated that has happened. And the other thing that I think frustrates me a little bit is there seems to be instances where decisions like that go against us. And I see other clubs go freaking mental, like right to the Premier League officials and say, hey, here's an example. Can you explain to us why that goal was given and this one wasn't? And we're so passive that it's just carrying on. I don't like when I saw clubs like issuing statements, this referee's done this to us, stuff like that. I don't think that's okay. But I do think as a club we need to be sticking up for ourselves, because Arsenal are being officiated, in my opinion, very differently ever since they kicked the fuck off every week about refereeing.
Yeah.
And like to the point that I'm looking at that and I'm thinking referees are going there with in the back of their mind going, oh God, if I give a 50-50 against them, I might be getting called out after the game. I might be getting called into my boss's office to explain decisions. So if there's a 50-50, Arsenal are going to get it. Now, that's messed up, but I do feel like that's happening because... And VAR as well, again, just gets proven to be a horrible joke. Because the VAR didn't overrule that because they didn't see it as a clear and obvious error. So the guy who comes out and talks about these things afterwards says constantly... Like, yeah, well, it's not clear and obvious. Like, the referee has seen it. He's given that decision as a foul. We don't think that's a clear and obvious error, so we're not overruling it. It's an excuse. It's bullshit.
Yeah, if that's not a clear and obvious not a foul...
Like, you watch...
What is?
You watch 2-3 replays of it, quite quickly, you see straight away he doesn't push him. There isn't a push there. If anything, he puts his hands on him like balance. And the guy immediately, when he feels his hands, throws himself in the air. Which is mad. Because if he just stood his ground, Kolo Muani probably doesn't get the ball.
That's the bit that makes me laugh kind of the most out of this, and I kind of agree with what your Arsenal friend was saying.
Yeah.
By him doing that, it actually gave Muani the space needed
to score, to take the ball down and score.
He just stands in front of him.
Yeah.
Well, the ball hits the defender.
Yeah. Yeah.
When that decision doesn't go for them, it is going to cost them.
And I think a European referee doesn't give that. I think a European referee looks at that and goes, "He didn't fucking push you.
Get up." Yeah.
You did. I watched it. He didn't push you. You dived, and that's the other thing as well. Is like it was a dive. The guy is trying to con the referee. So when you're on VAR and you're talking about clear and obvious errors, like, no. Go to the monitor. Not only did he not push him, he dived. He's conning you. That's a goal and a yellow card. So I'm frustrated by that because I feel like...
And that's the thing. If that happens in the other penalty box...
Yeah.
And that is a striker... Oh no, a defender doing that to a striker in the other box.
Yeah.
Is that given as a penalty and a yellow card?
Well, with that particular referee,
or is that given as a simulation? You now get a yellow card for diving.
Well, it's interesting because I wonder what VAR would do with that. Like, so for example, if the referee sees that as a goal on the field, VAR again doesn't get involved. They're just like, oh, no clear and obvious error. That's fine. But the point you just made then is like, so if a defender touches a striker like that and the striker goes down like a sack of shit, dives, I think VAR do pull that. I think they'd say, no, you've been conned. There wouldn't a push.
Yeah.
But anyway, we could debate it and go round and round in circles. It's frustrating because, and this happens, like you see teams talk about this all the time, is when you're in a relegation fight, shit just doesn't go your way. And that's the reality of the situation we're in. Things just are not going to go our way. So you need to take the referee out of the equation. You need to be good enough to score goals that are undisputed, to do things. We just have to be good enough, and that's worrying because obviously right now we're not.
That's not where we are right now.
I want to just give a special mention to Dele Alli, who came on at half-time and commented that the love from Spurs fans and how much he loves us. That was a good moment. Shame about the result to go with it, but it was...
I definitely got a little emotional watching him do his half-time, like his little talk.
Yeah.
I hope you've all missed me as much as I've missed you, and I'm like, yes!
Yeah.
I still sign you on Football Manager for every single club that I manage. I miss you, Dele.
Bless you. Okay. So, we're going to end this with... It's Fulham away. We've not done this in a little while. Can you
No.
Can you predict? Win, lose, or draw? Do you think?
2-2.
Mate, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you understand the concept of win, lose, or draw?
Yeah, draw. It's gonna be
draw.
a draw.
There you go. That's right. Like I gave you 3 options and you went somewhere else.
I know. I already kind of, as soon as you said about that, we haven't done this for a while. I was like, he's going to ask me a prediction, and my brain automatically went 2-2.
Win, lose, or draw? 2-2. Okay, thanks. Yeah. I think we win. I genuinely think we win. I think Igor, in a few days, managed to put some fight into the team. I think with a few more days and hopefully a couple of players back, we'll see the new manager bounce against Fulham. I think teams are going to take us lightly. I think Fulham at home will feel confident. I think we're going to show up and win. You can all laugh at me if I'm wrong, but that's my hope and my belief.
I do really hope. I really do hope.
So thank you to everybody for listening. We realise how tough a time it is at the moment in consuming content as it relates to Tottenham. It's probably the last thing anyone wants to do, but everyone who's continuing to stick with us, really appreciate it. Please do get in touch because it's kind of lonely right now being a Tottenham fan. You can get in touch by email sam@spursnews.co.uk. You can get in touch via the socials. Please do message Laura on Instagram. She's feeling it like no one's really saying much to her anymore. Ever since she closed her OnlyFans, she just doesn't get as many messages. I don't know what that says. It's painting us men in a bad light that's happened. And obviously you can get in touch via Facebook, etc. as well. But yeah, thank you all as listening. We will be back next week to discuss the Fulham game and look ahead to the next game. Until then, everybody, you all take care.
And come on, you Spurs.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.